Welcome back, people. That time of week again. And this week we're doing John Steinbeck of Mice and Men. Now, we've done Grapes of Wrath before, and as I say in that review, I felt it was very, very powerful, very, very almost a modern classic. Of Mice and Men was the first Steinbeck work I ever studied when I was in GCSE, about 15, and I studied it later on just to get a feel for it, just because I wanted the experience of reading it for myself, reading it for leisure rather than with a teacher over my shoulder telling me to analyse everything. And I read it, and it's only short. It's only a couple of hundred pages, if that, 150 maybe, 100. About to get there, 120 pages. Nothing much. You can read it in a sitting of about 2 hours if you've got time. And it tells the story of George and Lenny, two ranch workers in deep South America, and they the valleys of California, sorry, not deep south, but they just travel from ranch to ranch, finding work, trying to make a living. And ultimately, Lenny, who's mentally unwell, mentally incapacitated, got the mentality of a child, will ultimately get them in trouble in every ranch that they go to. And this is just a story of one, or that I won't ruin anything, but their story at a ranch in California. And they end up going there, and Lenny, obviously, as usual, ends up getting himself into trouble. This is a story of friendship, of camaraderie, of the American dream, which is a prevalent fixture in most of Steinbeck's work from what I've read of him, of humanity. Again, that's another theme that runs through a lot of Steinbeck stuff. Humanity, human nature, human compassion, human kindness, even human anger and human emotion is so prevalent in all of Steinbeck's stuff that I've read. And Lenny and George are arguably almost brothers. They're best friends. They love one another to death. But of course, the only problem is Lenny is got the mentality of a child. He ends up getting himself into trouble all this time, which is why they travel about. George is more level-headed, more streetwise. It's a very, very sad story. I will warn you now, if you haven't read it. Very, very heartbreaking to read. But go ahead and pick it up, because it is worth. It's a roller coaster of a ride. It is worth a read through. 125%. There's some brilliant characters in here, particularly, as I said, Lenny. George is quite level-headed, quite streetwise. You've got Curly, who's the ranch owner's or the ranch boss's son. Very arrogant character, probably the main antagonist, of the book, of the novella, as it actually technically is. Then you've got Curly's wife, who isn't explicitly named as far as I can remember, but she's a beautiful character, very, very young, very naive sort of character that just wants. She has dreams of going to Hollywood and seeing her name in stars and being an actress and being a singer and a performer. And again, dreams come into Steinbeck's work. You've got Candy, who's the black caretaker of the ranch type thing, who lives in a shed by himself. He hasn't got very much. So racism comes up quite often in this one as well. So racism, humanity, human emotions, human compassion, human kindness, the American dream. These are the biggest themes of Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, and some of the biggest themes of Steinbeck's work in general. So go ahead and pick that up. It's a good starting point to get into Steinbeck, as it was for me. That's Of Mice and Men, and I'll see you in the next one.